Hello everyone, welcome back to Navigate Now with Ife. For some of us that have been streaming the first episode and the second episode, I want to say thank you to you. For some of us that have been streaming it on YouTube and on Spotify, thank you so much. I want to believe that you're already getting blessed. You're getting one or two there. Thank you so much. Let's keep it grinding. Let's share as many as possible. Let's share it on all our platforms. I'd like us to also subscribe, both on YouTube and on Spotify, so that we can reach more people. The agenda is that more people be reached, more people become better than what they were yesterday. So in the last episode, that was episode 2, we discussed about setting your goals and your intentions. We discussed about that, and there I remember we talked about intentions being intentions, and they remain intentions, they remain thoughts. I remember we also spoke about putting intentions and thoughts into on a scale of priority. I remember we said that we can write them down in pieces of paper, and then we now start putting them on a scale of preference, based on how relevant they are to us and to our lives in general. I want to believe that some of us have already started doing that already. Feel free to share, check us up on Instagram. You can message us there. Check us up on YouTube. You can also drop some comments there. Even on Spotify, check us there. Then you can reach us through our mail also. Reach out to us if you need counseling, if you need help, with any of those things, or you just want to share with us, part of the success story. We'd like to hear from you as well. Okay, so on today's episode, like we discussed in the last episode, this is episode 3, and I tag it and I name it, or I title it Setting Smart Goals. I remember in the last session, we talked about setting smart goals, and we said that the acronym of the word SMART, S-M-A-R-T, have meanings, and there's a way we tweak them, to our advantage, in setting goals. So I'll quickly jump on it right back now, and I'd like you to journey with me. I'll be as fast as possible. I'm using one example to explain, and I'll try and be practical as possible. You can tweak it into whichever goal that you want to try and set for yourself. So, SMART goals. I said, so this is a comprehensive explanation, and the example we'll be using here is purchasing a car in 2025. And I'll be using myself as the person that is setting the goal that I want to purchase a car in 2025. I'd like you to be very attentive, don't miss it. So now let's start with the word specific. The spelling of SMART is S-M-A-R-T. Now let's start with specific. So I said your goal should clearly define to the letter, put that in capital, to the letter, what you want to achieve. That is your goal. You must be specific to the letter. Making your goal specific makes it rids you of any opportunity of confusing that particular goal with another goal. There are lots of entities, thoughts, goals, and all of that looks very, very similar. What differentiates them, what juxtaposes them from each other, is how specific they are, or how specific you have set that goal. So I said, make it void of ambiguity, confusion with another entity. For instance, we are making an example of a car. I can say, I want to buy a car. But we all know that there are different kinds of cars. There's Buick, there's Honda, there's Civic, there's Accord. Even if you now say, okay, I want to buy Honda Accord. There are lots of Honda Accord. There are so many Honda Accords with different years. Alright? I want to buy Mercedes-Benz. There are lots of Mercedes-Benz. I want to pass my exams. Which of the exams? But I'll try to stay with the car example, and I'll try as much as possible to be practical enough. I will try and make sure that this video doesn't go beyond 10 minutes, but then if it does, please permit me. I'm trying to be practical enough. So I said, rather than saying I want to buy a car, say this: I want to buy a fairly used 1.8 liter engine red 2012 Honda Civic car. So here you can see how specific I was. I said I want to buy a fairly used. So because if I say I want to buy a car, it could be new, it could be refurbished, it could be fairly used, it could be cut and sew, and all that. So this time around I said a fairly used. I said 1.8 liter. That is to talk about the capacity of the engine. Alright? Because cars are in different capacities. Then I spoke about the color, red. I am very being specific because there are lots of cars with different colors. I said 2012. That is talking about the year of the car. Then I said Honda. Honda is the brand. Civic is the sub brand. Can you see? So if I just say I want to buy Honda Civic car, There are lots of Honda Civic cars with different years, different colors, different engine, and who knows, maybe there are other brands that also produce cars that are called Civic. So you need to be very specific. So here I said I want to buy a fairly used. If you don't know about the engines, you can find out, but you can easily just say I want to buy a fairly used red 2012 Honda Civic car. That goal is specific. You can tailor it to every other goal that you think you want to set. This is just the example we are standing with here. Let's go to the next one. I said your goal must be measurable. The goal should include criteria to measure progress and success. That is to say, that goal, there must be criteria put in how you set that goal in such a way that you can measure the progress and success of that goal. You can easily tell when you're on track, or when you are lagging behind, or maybe when you are actually ahead, which is good for you. That goal must be measurable. I said this will help with tracking the journey towards the actualization of that goal. Now look at this one. Look at the example that I'm setting here. I'm trying to make the car measurable. The goal of buying the car measurable. I'm trying to make it measurable. I said I want to save $12,000 between now, which is January 7th, 2025, to December 31st, 2025. Okay, so I stated how much I am going to be saving, and I have stated the span or the length of period by which or through which I want to save that money. Okay, that is measurable. So I said this implies that a minimum of $1,000 must be saved at the end of each month, because between January 7th now 2025 to December 31st 2025 is 12 months, and I'm trying to save 12,000 naira. If you do mathematics, 12 months divided by $12,000 divided by 12 months, that means that at the end of each month you must have saved $1,000. So at the end of January you should have $1,000. At the end of March you should have $3,000. If by the end of April you have $3,000 instead of $4,000, then you know that you need to sit up. But if by the end of April you have $7,000, you know that you're doing well and you keep the energy going. Right? That way you can measure and track the success and know whether to sit tight. Well, I won't encourage you to relax. If you're even ahead, you can charge ahead and keep charging that way. You understand? But should in case you're lagging, please, you need to, sit up. Should in case you are breaking even, like, okay, say for instance, by June is the 6th month, right? You still have 6,000. You're still breaking even, you can still charge ahead and, sit tight. So that it's better to be ahead, than to be on the edge. All right, so that's measurable. Let me rush. The next one is SMA, and the next one is achievable. Your goal must be achievable. Here I said your goal must be realistic and attainable based on your current resources and constraints. There are two keywords here: resources and constraints. Now everybody has, regardless of whatever goal it is, you have constraints, you have resources. Resources are the things that will enable you in achieving that goal. Constraints are the things that will pull you away from achieving that goal. Now you need to identify them and know the checks and balances between them, and how you can position yourself in achieving that goal. Now we said I want to save $1,000 every month to the actualization of $12,000 at the end of the year, right? Okay, now let's say because it's money that I'm trying to save, and I'm going to save that money from an income, something that's coming in, right? So let's say my net income every month is $3,000. That is a resource. All right, that is what? A resource. However, that $3,000, I have restraints, or should I say constraints? How do I mean? I have to pay my rent. You have to pay hydro, or NEPA, or as the case may be, whatever it is. You need to eat. While you are still saving up to buy a car, you still need to use the bus. All right. There is other miscellaneous. There's family. Every other thing. Those things are called constraints and budgets. Now you need to be careful here. This is very sensitive. Now you need to consider constraints that are very needed and that are unavoidable for you. If those, you need to consider those ones. If there are constraints that you can avoid, please do away with them. But you see, you need to put into consideration constraints that you cannot avoid. For instance, you have to pay your rent. You can't run away from that. You have to, pay your hydro. You have to eat. You have to, and there's miscellaneous. So in this case, I am basing my teaching on one. My net income every month is $3,000. I pay a rent of $900 every month. I pay hydro of $100 every month. Let's say I have a budget of $400 every month, and let's say miscellaneous $400. So now by the time I add up all these constraints, 900 plus 100, that's 1,000, plus 100 for food budget, plus 400 for food budget, that's 1,400, plus 400 for miscellaneous, that's 1,800. Let's say this 1,800 has covered all the needed constraints, so out of $3,000 that is my net income, the constraint that I have is 1,800. It means that I have $1,200 left. So you see, in this case, I can still save the 1,000. So it means that goal is achievable for me. Part of the constraints that you need to consider also is other goals that need your financial commitment as well. All right. So, but in this case now, after considering all the constraints that are germane and vital to me, I have $1,200 left. So it means that for me, this goal, saving up $1,000 every month, is easy. So that is achievable. However, should in case, after considering all the constraints and all the bits and here and there, if I could not save up to $1,000, that means that particular goal is not achievable for me. I need to do what? I need to adjust. It means that I need to adjust. It's either I go for another car that will not be about $12,000, maybe $5,000, maybe $8,000, maybe $7,000. Look for a goal that fits among what you have. This doesn't mean that you're settling for less. This means that you're setting a goal that is achievable. Okay, that is achievable. It's best for you to plan with what you have and with what you can see. I know that some of us have faith. There's the faith side of it. You understand? We can come to that. All right, we'll come to that and we'll teach on that later. You understand? But humanly speaking, plan with your resources and your constraints. Plan with your current resources and your constraints. That will determine if the goal is achievable or not. Let me jump to the next point. So PARO is called relevance. Now that goal that you're setting must be relevant. It must be a relevant goal. Relevant to what? What do I mean by relevant? Okay, I said your goal must be relevant with your broader objectives, your values or needs. That is to say, the goal that you want to set, it must be relevant to you. You must be setting a goal that, for instance, if I already have two cars already, do you understand? And I just want to buy another one. For what? It's not like I need it right now. It's not relevant to me. It's not relevant to me. One funny example came to mind now. I don't know, say for instance, you're a teenager, you're 13 years, you're 14 years, and your goal is you want to have a girlfriend. It's not relevant to you right now. That's not relevant to you. You don't need relationship. The relationship that you need is that of your parents and maybe friends. Family, friends and all that. That's okay for you. So your goal must be relevant. It must be relevant to you. It must be relevant to your objectives. It must be relevant to other goals that you have. It must be relevant to your values. It must also be relevant to your needs. It must also be relevant to your needs. That's how you test the relevance of your goal. All right, I give you a personal story. The first car that I bought in Canada. Okay, I'll tell you why I bought the car and how setting that goal helped me. So in Canada, for some of you that know Canada, Canada is a city, a country where you have very harsh cold weather, right? Very harsh cold weather and all of that. So I discovered that in my first semester when I was doing my postgraduate in school, I was below par and I was put on probation, which means that by the end of the next semester, the second semester, if I don't meet up, it means I have to jump out of the course. I'm not sure I discussed it with the family, I haven't spent that fortune, but I was failing. I was failing, and I know that I needed to sit up. You know what I did? I had to reflect. Why was I failing? What was the problem? Do you understand? Then I discovered that my course was dense, like it was choking. There's a lot to learn. You have assignments. I'm writing codes every day. There's assignments to write. There are textbooks to read. Amongst that, I need to go to work, and all of that. So I now looked at it. Okay, what's the problem? I discovered that the problem was that I wasn't reading enough. Not like I don't want to read enough, but because I didn't have enough time to read. So I now had to think about it. What was taking my time? What could possibly be taking my time to reading? And after doing lots of brainstorming and all that, I discovered that commuting from my house to school and back, commuting from my house to work and back was taking approximately 6 hours from me every day. If you are in Canada or maybe any other country that makes use of public buses, you discover that where you're going may be just 12 minutes away. All right, but the bus is going to take you an hour and a half, maybe 2. The bus might be late and all of that. So I discovered that buses were taking 6 hours of my time every day. However, from my house to my school is just 12 minutes drive and back. From my house to my office is 12 minutes drive and back. I said, wow, what's the solution? is getting a car to move. Do you understand? So I have to set a goal to get a car. So you see that goal was relevant to me. How? I needed to find time from somewhere else that I can read with, to up my grades in school. So you see that goal is actually relevant. So that is how your goal must also be relevant to other goals, or to your values, or to your needs. I didn't say to your wants. I said to your needs. I said it for a reason. I think in some of the series some of the episodes that we did at first, I was telling you that there's a difference between needs, wants, and others. We'll see do a teaching of that. I don't know when, but we'll get to it. Okay? So your goal must be relevant to your other goals, your objectives, your values, your needs. Very charming. All right. Let's go to the last point. Time bound. Your goal must be time bound. I said set a clear deadline for achieving your goal to maintain motivation and accountability. This will help prevent you from infiniteness of unaccomplished goals. You can see that I set myself 12 months to save up for that car. Do you understand? I could easily just say I want to be saving to buy a car and not put a time to it. I can use 5 years to save for it and I will not achieve it. You know that the cost of cars will keep increasing too. So I'll just be looping myself infinitely. You understand? But when your goal is time bound, it gives you opportunity, it gives you motivation and accountability. It is essential that there's a start time and an end time. For every project, is one major key, one of the first key in project management is that for whatever project it is, there must be a start time and there must be an end time. And that must have been determined from setting that goal, from setting that project up. Okay? Now, the job. So this is just explaining SMART goals. Now, what does SMART goal looks like? So based on all the things that I've described, using this example of I want to buy a car, this is how your goal should be. This is how SMART goals sounds when you listen to it. Now, if you can recap everything I've said earlier, right? This is how SMART goals should be. I want to save up $12,000 to purchase a fairly used 1.8 liter red 2012 Honda Civic car by December 31st, 2025. Full stop. Then I continued. To achieve this, I will save $1,000 per month starting now. Full stop. I continued. This car will help gain the hours I spend using public buses for commute and spend it now on reading towards excellent results in school. So that is how SMART goal sounds. That is how it is. Okay, I want to say also it's telling you about, so it will tell you about the intention, or should I say the vision. Okay, SMART goal will first tell you about the vision that you have, then it will follow by the mission statement, and it will end with the why, and the why will show the relevance. SMART goals will give you these advantages. It will give you an opportunity for clarity, it will give you opportunity for focus, it will give you opportunity for motivation, it will give you opportunity for practicality, and it will give you opportunity for accountability. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. This is a bit long, but I needed to be explicit. I needed to be practical enough to explain this. I'd like you to make use of this and set some SMART goals for yourself. You can share some of it with me. Check our Instagram page, Navigate Now with Ife. On YouTube, it's also there. You can also email me at navigatenowwithife@gmail.com. You can share some of your beautiful goals set with me. If you need if you need tutorial, if you need mentorship on that, if you need guidance, you can always reach me. Just search for Navigate Now with Ife across Facebook, across Instagram, across Spotify itself, across YouTube itself. Let's go on this journey together. So until I meet you on the next episode of Navigate Now with Ife, I want to tell you that you should keep grinding, don't stop the work. This year, we're going to achieve big time. Thank you. I remain your favorite host, Ife Oluwakitade. Bye for now.